For years, alien ships in Star Citizen have been mostly associated with combat. From the agile fighters of the Xi'an to the mysterious technology of the Banu, these ships have always stood out because of their unique designs and unconventional approaches. But with the upcoming release of the GATAC RAILEN, we are finally entering a new era, alien industry. The RAILEN will be the first dedicated alien cargo hauler in Star Citizen, and its arrival is much more important than just adding another ship to the lineup. As alien civilizations begin to expand into their own systems, which is something that will happen eventually, they will need their own economies, their own industrial infrastructure, and eventually their own mining, transport, and support ships. This is something I have mentioned many times on this channel. If alien civilizations are going to exist as fully developed societies, then we should expect much more than alien fighters. We should expect entire industrial ecosystems, and the RAILEN might be the first major step in that direction. Scheduled to arrive with Alpha 4.8.2 alongside Alien Week, the GATAC RAILEN also received some very interesting upgrades compared to its original concept. Some changes might disappoint fans of the original design, but others could completely transform how the ship functions in the game, so today let's take a look at why the RAILEN might become one of the most interesting cargo ships in Star Citizen. One of the most iconic visual elements of the original RAILEN concept was its triangular cargo pods. They were one of the features that immediately made the ship feel alien and different from anything else in Star Citizen. Unfortunately, those unique cargo pods were removed in favor of standard SU cargo containers. Visually, I think most people would agree that the result does not look quite as impressive as the original concept art. The ship loses some of that instantly recognizable Xi'an identity. However, there is a very important advantage: the cargo capacity has been massively increased. The original concept was designed at 320 SCU of cargo, but the updated version can now carry 640 SCU. That is a huge upgrade. It's the double, basically, of what it was, placing the RAILEN just below the Crusader Hercules C2 in terms of cargo capacity. But unlike the C2, the RAILEN has a major usability advantage. Because the cargo grid is located on the exterior of the ship, loading and unloading should be much easier and more efficient, and that is not the only improvement. The RAILEN also comes equipped with 2 remote control tractor beam turrets, both operated from the bridge. Now, normally, tractor beam turrets have been a feature that sounds great on paper, but has been frustrating to actually use. Personally, I have always found them to be rather clumsy. In most cases, manually moving cargo has been faster because using tractor beams often creates its own problems. Containers can bounce around, hit walls, get stuck, or simply refuse to go exactly where you want them. But the RAILEN might finally change that. Because the cargo is positioned externally with clear visibility from the tractor beam camera and fewer obstacles around the ship, these tractor beam turrets might actually become practical. If they work as expected, the RAILEN could become the first ship where tractor beam gameplay feels like a genuine advantage rather than a gimmick, and that is something I am genuinely excited to test. Of course, having cargo mounted externally raises an obvious question: what happens when pirates attack? Normally, exposed cargo containers are a major weakness. Ships like the Hull series can carry huge amounts of cargo, but that cargo is vulnerable because it is outside of the ship. However, CIG found a very clever solution. Instead of completely abandoning the triangular cargo pod design, they reused that concept as protective shield panels surrounding the cargo containers. The result is a ship that keeps its visual identity of the original concept while also giving the cargo additional protection. That means the RAILEN could have a defensive advantage compared to other exterior cargo ships. It combines the practicality of standard SU containers with a protection and style that made the original design so interesting. In my opinion, this is a much better compromise than simply removing the concept entirely. Moving inside the RAILEN, The ship immediately feels different from almost anything else currently in the game. The interior design perfectly captures the Xi'an philosophy. It feels alien, but not in the traditional science fiction genre where everything is dark, intimidating, and mysterious. Instead, it feels peaceful. The entire ship is designed around relaxation and harmony. The details are what really make it stand out. The virtual waterfall flowing through the interior, the holographic terrarium with the butterflies moving around, it just feels very relaxing, and I really love these vibes here. But I think that the real highlight has to be the bridge. The Railen's bridge might be one of the most impressive designs we have seen in Star Citizen. The massive, clear canopy creates an incredible field of view. There are no visual obstacles blocking the pilot, and the floating seats moving around the bridge are a perfect showcase of Xi'an anti-gravity technology. It does just not look cool, it communicates something important about the civilization that created this ship. The Railen feels alien because of its technology, not because it is covered in strange decorations. Despite being a cargo ship, the Railen might also be much more capable in combat than many people expected. Xi'an ships have always had an advantage when it comes to maneuverability, and based on the footage that we have seen, the Railen appears to continue that tradition. But what surprised me the most was its firepower. In addition to manned turrets and missiles, the pilot can control 4 size 4 laser repeaters, and that is a serious amount of firepower for a cargo hauler. Obviously, it will not replace a dedicated combat ship, but compared to something like the Crusader Hercules C2, the Railen could be significantly more dangerous when attacked. The remaining question, of course, is durability. Will the Railen be able to survive incoming damage better than other cargo ships? Will its shields and armor compensate for larger profile? Well, that remains to be seen. One thing that is almost guaranteed, however, is that the price will increase. I originally bought my Railen for $200 when it was first sold as a concept ship. At that time, it was a different proposition than it is now, but now I think that with the double cargo capacity, improved usability, tractor-beam turrets, protected cargo, and additional combat capabilities here, the value of the ship is clearly increasing. Because of these upgrades, I would not be surprised to see the Railen received a significant price increase. My expectation is that it could end up somewhere between $500 and $550 when it returns to the store. Whether that price is justified will depend on how well all of these features actually work in-game. That is a whole other topic, of course. So, the GATAC RAILEN is shaping up to be much more than just another cargo ship. It represents the beginning of something much bigger, the arrival of alien industrial gameplay in Star Citizen. And while most fans may miss the original triangular cargo pods, CIG's solution actually created a ship that is potentially more practical and capable, as well as more interesting to use. With 640 SU of cargo, external loading, potentially useful tractor beams, right? This might be one of the most impressive also interiors of the game. It is really a ship that is very unique in the Star Citizen fleet, and that is the first step towards developed alien economies, and then this might just be the beginning of a new category of ships. Hopefully we are also going to see mining ships and transport ships. We'll see, right? Anyway, I cannot wait to try it out in 4.8.2. I'll make a full review as soon as it comes out, so don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be notified when that video is out. Thank you so much for watching, guys. As always, a big shout out to my Patreon and YouTube members, including Sokar Narcissius, Ducky Dudoker, Shadow Rise, and Zero Crusher. I've been the Eradicator, and I'll see you guys in the next one.